The San Francisco 49ers are on a hot streak right now. However, they are dealing with some injuries to some very key players at some key positions. So, heading into this game against the Arizona Cardinals, John Lynch joined KNBR to be able to highlight a lot of the talking points throughout the week, but also discuss some of these injuries that have come up for the 49ers. And three names of interest in regards to starters. It seems like these are the guys that are in question and either could play or are potentially trending towards not playing. Charvarius Ward, Javon Hargrave, and Eric Armstead are the big names at the top of the list. Now, we already know some guys aren't going to play, and we did hear yesterday that Dre Greenlaw is expected to play, even though he has not practiced the last 2 days. So this is good news. But these practice reports have been something that we have been monitoring because we did understand that Javon Hargrave and Charvarius Ward exited the game against Seattle with groin for Charvarius and hamstring for Hargrave. So these are things that we've been monitoring because they haven't practiced throughout the week. So John Lynch provides us with an update on these players. One sounding good and the other two not so good. I'm going to let John Lynch explain it straight from his mouth as he joined Murph and Marcus on KNBR this morning to discuss the injury reports. Take a listen, and then we are going to react to it on the other side.
And each and every week is different in terms of the injury report, so we definitely want to ask you about some key names that are on the injury report, which could affect, this game. Let's start with your corner, Charvarius Mooney Ward, who's been playing great. In fact, I think he just did an interview with Eric Armstead where he was saying he thinks he's one of the top 3 or 5 corners in the game. You got to love that confidence, but he's also has a groin injury that caused him to leave the game last week, miss practice this week. Is he going to miss the game this Sunday, John?
We'll see. I think Mooney, as we refer to Charvarius as Mooney's very much in play. I think came out of the game early last week. But we had him out there, and Charvarius was comfortable to go back in if we needed him. Having said that, there was an injury, and so he's worked really hard to rehab. He has not practiced yet this week. I think today's going to be a big day to see where we can get him, and we still got time. So Charvarius is very much in play, and not haven't figured that one out yet, but he's working hard to try to be out there on Sunday.
If he doesn't go, that brings to focus one of the guys who's surged for you, and that's Ambry Thomas. Not to mention Diamond Lenore from the last year. I mean, listen, there were questions about Thomas's ability to hang in the league. What have you seen this year change in him?
You never know when that light bulb's going to go on for a player, and Ambry's had big moments. If you go back to clinching a game against the Rams down there at SoFi, Ambry having the big pick a couple years ago. So he's had the talent, but it's just the consistency, and it all came together. He's developed. He's become a pro, and he's always had the ability. Ambry can run. I think he tracks the football very well. I think he's grown up, and he kept getting opportunities, and then riding with them for a little bit, but then something would happen, and I think this year he's just strung it together. We're really proud of him, and that's part of this league. You got to continue to develop the guys you believe in, and the guy on the opposite side, Demo is. He's been tremendous as well. And then I think can't say enough about a guy like Isaiah Oliver. Was our starting nickel early in the year. We made a change, and he's continued to work in Philly. He went in there when we had some injuries, played some safety, made some big plays there. But last week when Mooney went out, he was thrust back into his nickel role and played really well for us. And so, they always say about corner, you can't have enough good players there, and we believe in that. And that depth has been tested, and we're fortunate to have, guys like Ambry, Demo, Isaiah, Darrell Luter's a guy we're very encouraged with. Sam Womack's playing real well on special teams. So we've got some depth there, and you need it at the corner position.
Two big names on the D-line are in question this week. Start with the shorter-term one, Javon Hargrave, where he left the game last week. He hasn't practiced this week. Is he not going to play this Sunday?
Haven't figured that one out yet, but it's he injured his hamstring, and so I think it would be a reach for him to play this week, but we'll see. He's going to continue rehabbing. Javon is a guy who's been a healthy player throughout his career. He's got the right type of mindset where he very much wants to play, but we got to be smart with that one. You don't want those things to linger. So we'll see where Javon goes, and then Eric the same way, dealing with a couple different things with his knee and his foot. Eric's working extremely hard, as he always does. But we need Eric out there. When he's out there, we need to keep him out there. So, we're working through that. And, as for this week, I think somewhat in play, but I doubt that Eric makes it.
So let's start off with the good news, right? It does sound like Charvarius Ward is trending in the right direction. Sounds like they're being a little bit cautious with his groin, obviously not wanting to push it too hard and re-aggravate the injury. And John Lynch also goes into a great detail about the cornerback that the 49ers have right now and how well the whole group is playing. But it does sound like, at least from what John Lynch is saying, is that there is a chance that Charvarius Ward will play in this game against the Cardinals, which is great news because he is trending. He is one of the more ascending players on the roster in regards to how he's been playing out of the bye, and he's getting a lot of respect for being able to travel with DK Metcalf, what he's done to AJ Brown, all these different things. So he's playing really, really well, but some potential big hits coming to the 49ers on the interior defensive line. Javon Hargrave and Eric Armstead. Now, we already kind of anticipated that Eric Armstead wasn't going to play. This is something that the 49ers have done a good job of kind of alluding to. So it's already been kind of processed in my mind that Eric Armstead isn't going to play. So it doesn't sound like he is, according to John Lynch. But I think the bigger thing is Javon Hargrave might not play this game against the Arizona Cardinals, which is big, right? Because that's your two starting interior defensive tackles that are potentially out against the Cardinals. So what does that mean? That means that Javon Kinlaw and Kevin Givens will have to play extended snaps. And then they are going to have to bring some guys off the practice squad to fill in, whether that's Barrett, Kalia Davis. The 49ers are going to have to reach into their depth bag at defensive tackle if their two starters can't go. And to be honest, if they aren't 100%, they shouldn't go, because the San Francisco 49ers need Hargrave and Eric Armstead for the playoffs, and especially for this game against the Ravens. So if there's any indication that they aren't 100% yet, then I don't think you should put them out there. Obviously, we don't want this to be a trap game. The Arizona Cardinals are playing pretty good ball right now, playing motivated ball. And we don't want to sleepwalk. This is an opportunity for the 49ers to clinch the West. And, we don't want some injuries on the interior defensive line to, open up running lanes for Connor or things like that. So these are the updates that we've gotten right now. So obviously it does appear that, John Lynch wants to see what practice looks like for Charvarius Ward before giving the final indication, but it's trending in the right direction, and the defensive tackles not so much. So we'll see. He didn't give an update on Aaron Banks, who missed practice yesterday in a bit of a surprise. Spencer Burford did return. We do know Jonathan Feliciano can play both sides, so it's lesser of an issue. But he didn't give an update on Aaron Banks, so, he wasn't asked about it. So we'll continue to monitor that. That's going to be another big update that we look for from today's practice updates. But let me know what you guys think about what John Lynch had to say. What are your guys' feelings with these players? Should we rest Hargrave and Eric Armstead, and should we play Charvarius Ward? Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.